Alright, I'm on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. I love driving my motorcycle up and down the road. I just can't wait to get on the road again. Yeah. Alright, here we are, y'all. Out here, riding around a little bit on this supposed to be stormy Thursday of the spring break. See if we can find us a storm and run away from it, chase it, something. Anyways, alright, so we continue our adventure with Islam. We're going to learn how it all started. We're going to learn how it all began. Ooh, let me keep two hands on here. It's kind of windy, blowing me around. My 435-pound motorcycle getting blown around. Let's take this right here down the Baker Hill. We're going Baker Hill. It's supposed to be a cool little drop on the bottom, so we're going to find out on the bike route. Well, anyway, Islam, the year. It all started here. All right, let's talk about it. There's a guy that is born. And I think y'all, or some of y'all may know who he is. Shout it out if you like. His name is Muhammad, or Muhammad. Muhammad, that's right, Muhammad, the first Muhammad. Muhammad will be born in 570. Now, you have to understand the world that he was born in. All right, the world he is born in is, it's basically Arabia, where Saudi Arabia is today. It's a big desert, and what you have here is a bunch of tribes. A bunch of tribes that are all a part of they're called Bedouin. Well, you have a bunch of Bedouin people. You need to know the Bedouin. The Bedouin are basically people that live in the desert people. And they're stuck with a lot of traditions, and sometimes those traditions aren't very nice. Sometimes they take over others, they fight, tribes would fight each other, and this is the world he is born into. Well, anyways, his mama dies, his daddy dies. Here's that hill, I think. And he is raised by his uncle. Muhammad is raised by his uncle, and let me slow down just a little bit right here. Kind of coming down through this curve. It's a little sharp here. Be careful, because it's wet. It's pretty though, man. It's so pretty. Look at the purple popping out into spring. Purple's popping out. Purple everywhere. Purple. All right. Anyways, he's born 570 into the Bedouin, the desert people. Well, he's not a desert person himself per se, because he's going to end up being a merchant, and he's going to be in charge of this caravan that moves from place to place and selling a bunch of goods. And he's actually quite successful. Let's check out the creek. See what's going on at the creek here. Oh, look at the fish. All the fish popping around. I bet they'd like to have this out there in the desert in Saudi Arabia. Something just fell off that log right there. Anyways, Muhammad, he's born into this lifestyle, and he gets married. He has a couple kids. He actually marries once, and she's really successful, but she dies too. But before his wife dies, Muhammad, he would take a lot of trips out into the desert. He would go out in the desert and he would pray. He was polytheistic. He believed in a whole bunch of gods. It was over 360 or 370 or something like that gods. What was different about this polytheism than the polytheism we've learned about in the past with the Greeks and the Romans and the Hindus and the Egyptians was that Muhammad was a part of this Arabian polytheism that was all basically surrounded by this place called the Kaaba. C-A-B-A-A, the Kaaba. Now the Kaaba, it's still there today. but it's been changed. But when it was first the Kaaba, the polytheistic Kaaba, what you have here is, you have inside of this big old box, you have a whole bunch of over 300 different idols or statues. These statues that all these people would come and they would go and they would worship, and they would visit once a year and they'd check it out. Man, look at all this. It's pretty. This is kind of like we're visiting right here. They would go visit it and check it out, just like we're doing right here. But they would go and they'd worship all these little gods. We're about to go up there on that road up there. Let's do it. And that's just what you did. There was no other options. That's what they did. They're going to take them some pictures. They think it's a pretty day for pictures too. Pictures, 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 pictures. Yeah. Victory Fuel. Let's get some victory in Elk River Mills. That's where we are. Elk River Mills. There's a road back there. Let's go check that road out. I like roads that go up and then down. Let's see if we can get up this road. Alright, anyways, this is what he grew up in a polytheistic environment. And what happens is, he's just not very satisfied. He's not a satisfied person. He's from what I'm reading about him, he's kind of unhappy. He's unhappy about what's going on in his life, so he wanders off in the desert by himself. I guess kind of like I'm doing right now, off by myself, doing my thing. Well, he's off praying. Now I'm off talking to myself on this, having a conversation with myself. He would be off praying, and he thought to some of these gods. Well, they can check, watch what happens. All right, the year is 607. It's kind of pretty up here. 607. I like pretty places. Got little rolling hills. Looks like it's going to stop, turn into gravel in somebody else's driveway, it looks like. Anyways, he's out there in his desert one day, and all of a sudden, what the books say, what writings say, that this angel, and they say the angel Gabriel came down. That's the same angel that came down to Mary and smacked him across the face, and bam! Started choking him, wiggling him around, shaking him up in the air like a rag doll, shaking him. He thought he was going to die. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but what I read is he thought he was going to die. The angel Gabriel came down to him and basically took him to the edge of his life. He thought he was going to die right there. And anyways, let's go. What do you think? Let's go. I like left. Looks pretty good over here. Let's just stay left. I like this. I'm going to ride my bicycle back here. Anyway, so he's being shaken around. He thought he was going to die. Angel Gabriel comes down to him and he smacks him across the face. I'm exaggerating about the smacking, but he may have. I don't know. I wasn't there. Anyways, and all of a sudden, bam! An angel starts speaking to him. He's in the form of a man. No trespassing, it says. He says he's a man, it looks like. And the man tells him that, Muhammad, there's a bunch of dirt. You are going to be Allah's last prophet. Now that is the Arabians, all these Arab and these Bedouins' name for God. Allah, A-L-L-A-H. A-L-L-A-H, Allah. You are Allah's last prophet. A house for sale. I need me a house. No, I don't like that house. Alright, and anyways, the angel Gabriel starts telling him all this stuff, how people should be living, and how that there's only one God, and this is what everybody needs to believe. This is one of the things they have to say, if you remember from the 5 pillars of faith, is that Allah is the only God, and Muhammad is his last prophet. And that's the main thing that Muhammad has to go back and tell everybody. And so Muhammad's like, oh, well, let me go do it. And he goes back. And he starts telling everybody. He's telling everybody about what happened. And before long, all right, his friends and his family start to believe him. And they join in with him and say, yeah, all right, we'll be Muslims. And a Muslim is one who follows Allah, or one who is a part of Islam, or the Islamic faith. Now, is this where we were earlier? I have to remember this. Hickory Hills. It's a pretty little road. Come by my bicycle on. I think that's where we were earlier. So he starts to get all these Muslims, and actually it's not that many right at first. Because you got to think about it. Everybody in like the holy city of Mecca and in the desert area around Mecca in Saudi Arabia today, they believed in lots and lots of gods. And they didn't like this whole idea there's only one God. And they start literally doing what the Romans did to the Christians, just not as extreme. They started persecuting them. Oh, I know where I am now. Yeah, I know this road. They start to pop them. I mean, not pop them, but persecute them. They do all types of torture to some of them. It's bad. I mean, it's really bad for some of them. They see a couple little waterfalls down here. And long story short, Muhammad's like, all right, dudes, all my followers, we're out of here. And they get up and they get out of this place. They feel like they don't need to believe there anymore. And they leave. And they go on what may be the most important journey or second most important journey, depends on what you believe. And they leave. And there was actually this scheme to kill Muhammad while they were still in Mecca, but they left before it happened. They got out of there. They got out of Mecca, and they went on the Hijra, the Hijrah. They went on the Hijra, and they leave, and Muhammad ends up in Yathrib, Yartib. They end up in Yathrib. It looks like it's about, I don't know, 70 miles or so, somewhere in there. There's a fish jumping out there. North of Mecca. All right, long story short, the people in Yathrib, they're a very divided people. They have all their tribes. They're in fight with each other, conflict and all. Well, he was taken there by these people that were from Yathrib visiting in Mecca, and they invite him because they think he'd be a good leader and unite all the people of Yathrib. And guess what? He does. He unites everybody. He becomes their leader. Yathrib is renamed into Medina. That's what we'll call it the rest of the time. Medina. Medina. M-E-D-I-N-A. Medina. And while he's there, all right, he begins to convert folks. You know, they convert them into becoming into this monotheistic religion. All right, there's our bridge. We were down there earlier. Check it out, kind of pretty on this stormy day. I see a few clouds. I don't see any rain coming down. And what time we got here? 4:42. We started 29. I got 3 minutes here. All right, so anyways, while he's in Medina, he basically becomes not just a religious leader anymore, and this is what Islam is. He becomes the leader of the first Islamic state. So he becomes a political leader. He becomes a government leader. And this is what Islam is today. It is let me stop. I don't want to get hit. See what this car is doing. Oh, it's turning. It becomes a religion that is running a government. So you have a theocracy. You have a theocracy in Islam. That's what it's really becoming. It's becoming a political institution or a government that's trying to rule as much area as it can. And Muhammad, he just starts taking over. He starts taking over all this area. At first it was through missionary work, basically spreading the word, and then he starts to use the sword. He gathers an army of 1,000. Now, long story short, he gathers an army of 10,000. 10,000 soldiers. Oh, that's a little grotto, a little cave right there. I gotta go back and see that. Ooh, I gotta go see that cave. Anyways, he armies of 10,000, and he heads back on a journey back to Mecca, which will be known as the Holy Land. This journey back to Mecca. All right, and you would think he had to go in and basically start hacking folks up and taking over, but the people of Mecca were afraid, and they realized that Muhammad is going to be in charge now, and they all start converting to Islam. All right, so there you go. Muhammad's back where he started, and I'm going to end this little section climbing this hill. Hope you enjoyed being on the road again. Yeah. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to hit part 2 here in just a few seconds. All right, guys, we'll see y'all on the flip side. Hope you've enjoyed our little story and our ride. History on 2 wheels. Lots of fun. I'm out of here.